Welcome to Latino Talk TV. I'm your host, Ben Mendez.
And I'm your host, Rob Arteaga.
We're in the Houston Media Source in Houston's East End. And I'll tell you what, great weather today. And we have a great show for you. But before that, we want to talk about some current events. Rob, now, I don't know about you, but I'm very excited about the Houston Rockets.
It's very exciting to see them do so well, but they got just a little bit cold these past couple of games, no?
Yeah, the last 3 games they lost.
Yes.
And they were big games. The last one was against Miami.
Miami, that's right.
Yeah, and of course LeBron James is no easy target.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm excited about the opportunity for playoffs, and we need it.
Sure. I think the Chicago game, they just had no energy whatsoever with them. But the Miami, at least it was a battle, you know? So
yeah,
I look for them to pick up from this point on.
Well, the Houston Texans have let go of some starters, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the quarterback situation. Everybody's talking about the quarterback from Texas A&M coming on board with the Houston Texans. I don't know how viable that is, but it'd be interesting to see who is going to be the next quarterback, if they bring in a new quarterback.
Sure, and especially right after they announced that Case Keenum was going to be their man, no?
Well, Schaub is still around, so
That's
we
right.
don't know what's going to happen there. And as you heard about the plane that took off from Malaysia, and it's a Boeing 757, huge, you can't miss it. Somewhere, somehow, it's missing.
I heard that it was behind these curtains. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's under one of these hats. You just don't know it. But we'll find out. I think it's very interesting. You know, there's a lot of focus on the pilots right now as to who is involved, and maybe there was something behind the scenes. We don't know. Until they find the plane and find the people that were involved, it's going to be all hearsay.
Have they found that black box yet?
No,
No?
not until they find the plane.
Okay,
So we'll see what happens there. We had elections last week.
that's right.
And kind of interesting, everybody kind of expected the way that it was going to go. It happened the way it did.
Correct.
But there was one race in particular that kind of threw the curve, and that was Lieutenant Dewhurst. He's behind Mr. Senator Dan Patrick is ahead in the race for lieutenant governor.
Now it's a runoff, is that right?
It's a runoff. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the runoff. Well, it's going to be in the next couple of weeks, and time will tell, see what happens.
Right.
And obviously, that's on the Republican side. Now, the big race is going to be in November, when we have Senator Wendy Davis against Lieutenant Governor Abbott, running for governor. And of course, we have Senator Vanderpute. It's going to be running also for Attorney General. Now, I'm sorry, Lieutenant Governor. I got my position mixed up there. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in November. Hopefully, the Democrats come out to vote. As you know, this is a Republican state. Unfortunately, I'm a Democrat. Let's be up front. I'm a Democrat. We need to have more Democrats come out to the polls and show their voice.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially with this candidate, the Democratic candidate that seems to have a lot of momentum, this Wendy.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And another thing in the news, we had a young lady that sued her parents. I believe she was 17 years old, and she was living with her friends, and she sued her parents for obviously not giving her what she wants.
Right.
And she lost. What are your thoughts on that? You being a psychologist, you know.
What I'm interested in is what the conversation was like the following morning for breakfast.
Well, for the viewers' sake, the judge, I guess, ordered the young lady to move back with her parents.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so she's back home in a fragile environment. She's probably walking on eggshells right now. But I'll tell you what, if my son sued me, I don't know how would I react.
I don't think that as Latinos, or I guess just any parent, is just going to be dumbfounded whenever one of their children does something like that, no? And in the psychology of it all, I mean, you have to think, what is it? Why would the lady want to do this? You know, why would she want to sue? The dynamics of it just makes it very, very interesting case. And like I said, I'd be real interested to see what the conversation was like the next morning when she had to move back in, because it's got to be awkward. And from now on, things are not going to be the same.
Well, you as a family therapist, I mean, you probably dealt with some weird situations. Have you ever dealt with something like this where you have the young lady or young man move out of the house because they didn't get what they wanted?
Well, I tell you what I do deal with. One of the things that I deal with is parents trying to please their children to the point where it can get that bad. And so my job is basically to try and balance rules at home and love at the same time. Because when you have too much love and no rules, they get out of control this way. They get this tantrum-like behavior that kind of dominates and will just be the energy that just dominates the child. When you have too many rules and no love, then usually anxiety will build up, or they get rebellious. They'll go one of those extremes. And so my job is to try and balance those out so get the best rounded child possible.
What do you do in a case where a young lady dresses like an older woman? She's 13 years old and she dresses like she's 21. What do you do in a case like that?
Well, I think that especially when it comes to teenagers, the work has to be done beforehand. So you have to know very well what kind of values you're going to instill, and you have to educate yourself as a parent to know how to instill those values. That way, when it comes to the age when they're going to be, exposed to their other friends and wanting to please and meet boys and whatnot, you don't have to work as hard, and it doesn't have to be as big of a battle to, hey, go and change, dress appropriately. Because when you just wait until that moment and you try and do that, it's going to be a big load for the parents. So my job is to try and tell parents that the work is done beforehand, especially with teenage issues.
Teach them young.
That's right.
So we got to teach Javier Perez. Where's Javier? Javier Perez, we got to teach him young. The other thing is we had, I don't know if you heard about this, but Houston Media Source is going to give you a contract to be the main host of your own TV show for the next 20 years. Did you know that?
No.
You're going to be a star, you're a superstar. So if you have any fans out there, right now is the time to get to know this young man. He's going to be a star. Our Dr. Feelgood he's known by Dr. Feelgood on stage, but get to know him. We go on to our next topic.
Sure.
We have some special guests. They're from the Cali Lewis Watson and the 40 Plus Models Inc.
Yes.
Is that correct? Did I pronounce that correctly?
That's correct.
You did correct.
And you've been in existence for 21 years.
21
you know what? We forgot our hat.
We did figure
Where's my hat?
Is it
Pat,
back here?
throw me a hat. Well, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Well, our organization started with Callie Lewis Watson, and what she wanted was to have a group of ladies at that point of 40 years or and above. You had to be 40 years old in order to be in the organization, and to show them how to dress elegantly. We are an elegant group, and hats is one thing that we usually feature. And she wanted to start this group, and she started it. I think there were about 300 people, I think, when it started. Now we're up to somewhere 1,600 people that attend our functions every year.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they're all from Houston?
Well, no, not really. No, they're not all from Houston. We have guests from different states and different places that come in, because we, as models, we invite our guests, and our guests come from different places, and many of our family members and what have you will come.
So representing this group, we have three individuals. It's Laura, I'm assuming it's Nora Nelson, right?
Nelson, yes.
And Patricia Carr and Renita Royal.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And so each of you all are obviously on the board?
No, we are not on the board. I am the scholarship chairperson, and
Okay.
I've been the scholarship chairperson for several years.
Okay.
And what we do is to try to give scholarships.
Okay.
Our whole purpose is to have a big show every year for high school students that are graduating, but those students who usually don't get a scholarship because of their grade level. We try to target those with 2.5 to 3.5 that normally won't get a scholarship. And also, the biggest point is also those that are in financial need. In other words, they actually need the monies in order to go on to better their education or to further their education and then to go on to college. And that's what we're all about.
So are you part of this committee, or Patricia?
I'm a member of the organization. Uh, I feel like I'm a voice for our scholarship recipients here.
I like the hat, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I have one just like it.
How about yourself? Are you on the committee?
No, I am the chaplain for the group.
Oh
And
my, we got a chaplain in the house.
I am the chaplain for the group.
We need one for Jerry, our next guest. He really needs a chaplain.
I keep prayer in our group. We focus on, as Laura said, we do focus on being the elegant group of men and women that we are, fashion-wise, and then also as well as our first priority and goal is to raise that scholarship money. I am a two-time 40-plus model queen for 2 years, 2 times. And
the
so
queen,
has
and the
Pat.
queen does what?
The queen or the model of the year, same title, is the person who raised the most money for the organization that helps with the scholarships. So I've been Miss 40 Plus twice.
It's very commendable.
Thank you.
I'm wondering why the focus on students that are average students. I think normally we hear, we want to give scholarships to students that are outstanding. Why this focus?
Well, because those students are the ones that will not usually get a scholarship, and possibly will not go on to college. But we don't give them a lot of money. We usually give them anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, but that will help assist that student. And being an educator myself, that interests me in helping a student go on to better themselves and to become, a contributing person to the popularity. And so that's what I'm all about, and I'm carrying that on from what I have done for years as an educator.
I'm wondering, how did you guys get started with the organization and this great cause?
Well, initially, modeling when my daughter was growing up, and we heard about the organization, 40 Plus Models. And usually a model brings a new person into the organization. And it was something I had always done. And once you join the organization and you take on the vision and the mission of the organization, which is the vision of Callie Lewis Watson. She was a retired nurse, and her dream was to always represent and present the more mature woman and more mature man on the runway. And as a part of her legacy, then we continue to carry on that dream of hers.
And is she still alive? Or?
She
Yes,
is.
she is.
She is.
So she's very involved for the past 21 years.
Well,
is.
Commendable.
Well, right now, Callie is our president emeritus, and her daughter has now taken over as president and CEO in her illness, and her daughter is carrying on in her stead the tradition that she started. And Callie, one thing that Callie wanted to do, I'm only 5 feet tall. And I always wanted to be a model, but Callie gave the opportunity to those of us who are not that runway type, 5'9" and up. And so I've been in the
Barbie doll.
organization. Yes.
Twiggy.
We come in all shapes and sizes.
Yes. And I've been in the organization now going on 19 years of those 21 years that we have been in existence.
Not to change the subject, but you bring up a good point. You know, a lot of people like to look like the Barbie, or Ken, if you will. So do you come across that in your therapy sessions where someone is very adamant about looking thin for their significant other?
Well, one of the things that comes up usually with teen girls, and I usually don't work with a lot of teens, but that's an issue that I wanted to bring up as well, the insecurity that usually comes with the modeling industry, because you can get these top models that are working very high with high clients and high fashion and whatnot, but they usually have that component of insecurity. Is that something that you guys deal with or try to educate other traditional type modeling agencies?
One of the things that we want our new members to come in and recognize is that we want to help our women come in or our men come in and know that we want to encourage that strong self-esteem. And that's what our organization does, is that we encourage it, we support, and we just embrace the new models coming in. because often they have not modeled. They're just lay women who have a dream to model. And so when they come in with us and you have a mentor, whether it's someone like Laura or a former queen, then we have traveled it. And so we embrace the new people.
So do you have a king also?
We do.
We've had,
Okay.
yes, we've had.
We do.
Great. Where do I apply?
Well, you have to raise money in
raise
order to
money.
get that scholarship money.
Just kidding.
But we
Jerry,
also
Jerry wants to be a king.
We also encourage and represent. You also lead by example.
Yes.
So one of the things that young ladies and young men see us, and they can see us on the runway, but they will recognize us in public.
Yes.
We do.
And that's based on, I know you, I saw you. I've had little girls when I was queen to represent my crown, to do community services. And for them to actually see a real person that they could touch that had a crown on their head, they were they were in total awe. And I told them, I said, just like I have this crown, you can have one.
So do you have a lot of seniors that are participating with this group as well?
We do. Everybody that's in our group is over 40.
Okay.
Yes.
But you have like 75?
Yes, we do. We have, I think we have one
Who's
that's
what?
80,
80, Miss
80,
Judy.
82, I think, 82 years old. And we have had one that was 86 before she passed on, but she was 86 years old and she's
still stepping.
Still stepping.
I'm thinking in 20 years, you guys must have really wonderful stories about the scholarships and
Yes.
what a difference it's made. I'm interested in some of those stories of the difference that your organization has made in students' lives.
Well, I have one student who we gave a scholarship, I think, 2 years ago, and she was aspiring to be a nurse, and she was finally inducted in, chosen to be in that program, the nursing program, and she's going on, I think this is her second or third year now, and she's in nursing. So many of our students have contacted us, and many of the universities have praised Callie Lewis Watson organization for the fact that we are doing this for students and giving them the opportunity that perhaps they may not have had not they have applied for our scholarship. Now we have students in the inner city. We usually service those students that are in the inner city, and we have this year 25 schools, and those students will apply for a scholarship, and we go through those scholarships and those applications, and we choose 15 to 20 students from that group to give $1,000 or $2,000 to help them on their way.
So when you say inner city, are we talking HISD only, or are we talking?
No, we're talking about inner city and surrounding. We have HISD, we have Aldine, we have Pearland, Fort Bend, Missouri City, and we did have Oak Forest, and what is the other one? We had Spring.
Did you say Katie?
Spring, and we had North Forest also.
North
when
Forest,
they were.
yes, before
Is
they
this
went.
graduating seniors only?
Yes.
Only
Yes.
graduating seniors, yes.
Like, not the community college going to university
No,
or somewhere else?
no, graduating seniors.
Okay.
And our students don't always. Every student is not college material, but they may have the desire to want to go to trade school, to any kind of schooling that is going to further their education. We want to give them that boost to let them know, okay, no college, fine, but let's do something, and here we go to
So
get you
you
started.
go to a two-year institution?
2 year. Well, we
Get
usually
a technical degree?
yes, it's 2-year college. You can go to 2-year community college or a university or a 4-year college.
Great. I'm a former teacher, so it's good to hear that you're giving back to the students that don't normally get scholarships.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time.
Right.
They don't have that 3.5 or 4.0 that they usually have when you get a scholarship, right?
Yes.
Right.
So I'm glad to hear that.
I'm wondering, so what are any of the other requirements to be able to apply to the scholarships?
The scholarship requirements are you must have first of all, a financial need. You must have a grade point average between 2.5 and 3.5. You must have a desire to want to go to school. We don't want to just give you the money and you just sit on it. We want you to use it. So we want those are the top 3 things that we want our applicants to do. And they do. And we do have those that qualify. And we're happy to, like say,
And the,
Yes.
and the other thing, they have to write a 200-page, a
200
200-word,
You gotta write a book.
Dissertation.
200 word,
You gotta have a thesis.
200-word essay telling us why they feel that they should receive this scholarship. And then we go through we really do go through those essays and choose those students based on their need. Many of our students are one parent, you know, maybe we're four, and we look at the fact that there may be 4 or 5 children in the same household, and that one parent is trying to send those students to college, and we try to give them that boost to go on.
And so he had asked earlier if you had any specific stories that you could share. Is there like one student that really caught your attention in this program that has really done well?
Well, I tell you, when I browse through our journal, our souvenir journal here, and when you give out scholarships, it's kind of like in the Bible when Jesus healed the 10 lepers and only one came back to say thank you. It's awesome when you go through your souvenir journal and on page 123, and I read how she said
There's
thank
one.
you. And it was in 2009. She went off to college. She got her degree, and then she was in the Souvenir Journal last year thanking 40 Plus Models for their contribution in her education. And so that makes us feel like our voice is heard. Our voice is letting the community know that there are students out there who have dreams of being a president, attorneys, nurses. I'm a nurse.
So am I.
What was your,
So-
what was your
I'm a Spanish teacher.
what? She can teach me some Spanish.
Yes, I probably could.
Wow.
So our souvenir journal, you know, goes all over the state of Texas because we have vendors and supporters, corporate sponsorships, and they come and support us for our annual show. So during the year, we support our supporters. So if it's your church, your sorority, or your fraternity, then we come and support your function. And then once a year, we have a huge show, and you come support us.
Yes.
And we give our appreciation to our sponsors and our supporters, and then we say thank you and welcome back to our big show.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What's the reaction like when you guys are doing something so different, you know, and 40 plus models? It's something that you don't hear often. What's the reaction like when you guys?
Well,
Excitement.
Excitement. As a matter of fact,
We
so,
are.
so much excitement that we
Yeah.
just returned from Tyler Rose Garden on yesterday,
Yeah, we had
where
one Tyler.
they heard about us, and we went to Tyler to put on a function for them. I think it was a
This is
sorority.
and this is what our 5th
This
time
is going
our fifth-
there.
Yeah.
Wow.
We
How many people went?
there were 26, 27 of us.
27.
Approximately 26,
Wow.
27
It's
of
a
us.
good sized group.
Yes.
That's good.
We're excited because we're actually getting ready for our big fashion show and luncheon on April the 6th, where we will be presenting our scholarship recipients for 2013, 14. So
2014,
we're
15.
excited. I mean, 2014, 15, yeah.
Yes.
So we're excited.
And where do you have these events?
This event will be held at the Hilton America downtown.
Oh, first class.
First class, yes,
That's
Yes.
good.
yes.
You had to pick the most expensive hotel.
Well, no, we didn't. We started, you know, sometimes you start small and then you build up.
Yes.
Well, we started small and we've built up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you're at the Hilton, hats off to you all because I
Yes.
know it takes a lot of money to put
Yes.
on any kind of event over there.
Yes.
Yes.
So you guys have done really well with
We
your
have.
sponsors. Congratulations.
Well, it's all for the kids, and we're doing it for the kids because we care. I care as an educator, but giving those students an opportunity that they would not have gotten, you know, perhaps if we hadn't given them that little boost and that encouragement that you can do it and you can go.
What's kept you guys going so long? 20 years is a lot of work, a lot
We
of.
love what we did.
One vision, one team.
Yes.
Now, I won't say we all have one team all the time, but
You mean there's
when
no
you have
fights?
this,
Oh.
but when you have
We won't
one,
talk about
when
that.
everybody has the same vision, it's okay to agree to disagree.
Yes.
But when you have that one vision and one goal in mind, we fight like cats and dogs. But when it comes to the kids and to the 40 plus models, we are one.
Yes.
We all embrace the same. We embrace the vision of of our visionary. So when you embrace the vision, then yes, you embrace the fact that we are a team and we support the dream. So teamwork makes the dream work. And we just embody that. And we just continue. We love what we do. We feel like the runway and fashion are our vehicles. It's just a vehicle to get the word out there. This is what we're doing. This is our mission. This is how we do it. And then you have other women and men out there who come and embrace our vision. I want to be a part of you all. What do I need to do?
Yeah.
And we let them know from the jump street, this is what we do. This is why we do what we do.
We have a number on the bottom of the screen. You can call in if you wish to participate in this discussion. It's live TV, so anybody can call in. You had any further questions?
Yes, we've heard a lot about the benefits and the cause, and I'm wondering, I think this is a good opportunity to showcase local designers. Have you guys worked
Oh
together
yes,
with
we
local
our
designers?
vendor, our clothes,
Oh,
our
yes.
clothes, a lot of clothes that we model and do the fashion shows. We do have sponsored vendors, and then there, of course, at times we have a la closet, which means out of your closet.
Yes.
But
A la Target and a la Walmart and
a la closet.
Well,
But yes,
usually our garments are of elegant, because that's what
Yes.
Kelly was all about, is elegance. And to show people that being elegant, you know, you don't have to be extravagant to be elegant. You can be elegant in many ways. And the hats are what make our group,
The hat.
we have what's
signature.
called a hat parade. That's our signature.
It's our
is the
signature.
hats.
It's our hat
so
parade.
even the guys wear hats?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Yes.
They do.
They do.
So
Not the kind that we are
sounds like
wearing.
we need to get a hat.
I think so.
I want some feathers on mine.
Yes.
I don't know what my girlfriend would say about that, because I already have some crazy hats in my closet, but you know, I'd welcome them.
You know, now that I think about it, I don't know if there's any group like this in the Hispanic community in Houston. Well, I haven't heard of any groups like this. Have you?
Not with the goal in mind to do for scholarships, but I've heard of other beauty contests and beauty type related that are Hispanic. We got Tomas Benitez. There's another one called the Aurora Group, and there's Fashion Houston is getting ready to do something, a project called Fashion Houston Latina, to promote Latina models in the area too.
Interesting. I think it's admirable that we have this group here that they bring out, what, 1,400 people for an event?
14. Initially, when we
Man,
first
that is a lot of people.
started, we had about 500 people at the fashion show.
Is that
Maybe-
140 tables that you sell?
Maybe 500.
10 per
Something-
table?
Yes, 10
Yes.
per table.
Wow.
We have outgrown, I think we've outgrown
We've
four
outgrown
hotels,
hotels, yeah.
4 or 5 hotels
believe
now. Yes.
Wow, so I guess we can do it at the back, my backyard, right?
Well, we can do some hat
Backyard.
parades in the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we've
good.
done them.
This is usually scholarship season. Are you guys getting ready to accept scholarship applications or anything?
Well, we
We've
just
already done
completed that last week. We have chosen 15 students this year that we will be giving $1,000 to each one of those 15 students, and we will be having that function next month.
And so for aspiring scholarship recipients, what would you tell them, or what would you advise them if they're interested in applying?
We encourage all of our students, because as scholarships, we give them with the scholarships, then our applications are given to the counselors in the school, correct?
Yeah, I send them to the counselors, yes.
And so therefore, the students are made aware that money is available. You just
Real
have
money.
to, real
Real
money
money.
is
Real
available.
money.
You just have to have a desire and meet the criteria and meet the deadline, which is most
Yes.
important.
Sure. So it sounds like to students, let's tell them to get with their counselor to see if they can
Yes.
apply. Is that correct?
Yes, mhm.
You have a website or a phone number?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
I want you to look right into that camera right there and tell them where to contact you all.
You may contact Laura Sanders Nelson. I'm the chairperson, the scholarship chairperson, and you may send a request at P.O. Box 450-335, Houston, Texas 77245.
And a phone number?
The phone number with area code 713-433-2348.
2348.
Yes.
So we can call till midnight.
No,
What time is the office closed?
about 9:30.
Well, that's good. Do you have any last minute questions?
I think I've
We're
covered
good?
it. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate y'all's time, and
thank
I
you.
know that
Thank you.
6 o'clock is not the easiest time to get here with rush hour. So I appreciate you spending your time, and I also want to thank you on behalf of all the scholarship recipients for all the work
Yes,
that you do.
thank
We thank you.
I'm sure you've had many down the years, so
Yes.
thank you again for coming out.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for having us.
We'll be back with Jerry Carrillo, our famous comedian from Houston. 2 minutes. Welcome back to Latino Talk TV. I'm your host, Ben Mendez, and I have Rob, our Dr. Feelgood host over here. And we have a very special guest. We have Jerry Carrillo, our famous comedian from Houston, Texas. Thank you for coming to the show.
No problem. How y'all doing? Well, real quick, hold on. I got to take a quick selfie, for Facebook. All right, y'all ready? All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I think it worked. There we go. All right, now we can get started. Otherwise, I wouldn't be comfortable.
So I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
Okay.
Yeah. A selfie. I mean, I see you on the freeway taking selfies. You stop
Yeah.
in the middle of the traffic.
Yeah, well, it was because it was iced up. I had to actually guide traffic out. I was guiding traffic. I got my little flares and everything.
I saw you on Facebook.
Yeah,
You did it.
yeah.
I guess there was a wreck or something.
Well, it was iced up. Everything was iced up out there. Everybody was stuck in on one of those merge lanes. So I got out there with a couple other guys, and I got my vest from construction work and stuff.
You know you don't.
I don't work. I don't got a real job. No. I borrowed it from my cousin, my primo. He got deported yesterday. But yeah, so we guided traffic out, and then I had to take a selfie because gotta do it, gotta keep up.
I mean, I literally saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about comedy in Houston.
Man, the comedy thing, man, is pretty good actually. Been very very active for the past, I want to say 6 months. I mean, virtually every weekend. I mean, this Friday had a show, Saturday and Sunday had a show, and now estoy todo desvelado en crudo. Is that que say? I'm just kidding. I just got out of work. But yeah, it's been very successful from, the Improv, House of Blues, concert pubs, restaurants, cafes, wherever they have me, basically.
That's great. So how did you get started in comedy, Jerry?
Well, I was started as a theatrical guy. I was always in theater and stuff, and I always did like the comedy relief stuff. Especially in Shakespeare, they had me doing the siempre. They had me with what is it? It was a comedy relief. I was a comedy relief guy, and in college at UHD, I tried stand-up. Got a standing ovation at an open mic, and then that's it. From there, it took off. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your shirt.
Oh, about my shirt. Oh, yeah. Well, it's basically, if you don't believe me, well, Google it. It's self-explanatory. Because every time you're with somebody out there, like no matter where we're at, where we'll be in the neighborhood or at school, at work, wherever you're at, if people don't believe you, like, I don't believe you, Jerry. There you go. Hey, let me Google it real quick. Let me Google it. So it just started catching on. So I was like, let me start using that. So I capitalized on it now.
And how long have you been doing it now?
For about 6 months, maybe a little bit over 6 months, and it's been doing real good. It's been doing real good.
So who do you team up with? Do you have other comedians that you go on the road with or tour?
Well, not even, man. Like people say that I need to go out on the road, and I should, but I've been so busy in Houston, I haven't had time to go out on the road. Been very successful with my manager, Carlos Wallace, and with other comedians that I hire for my own events. And then I work with other friends, like from Latin Lingo or whatnot. They put on their own shows. I'm very involved with the community, with different comedians in the community. So we stay very active here in Houston.
I had a funny story to share about Jerry. We had an event in Midtown, and Jerry said he was going to bring the moonwalk. So he brings in the moonwalk, and blown up and everything, and the kids get in. And as soon as those kids get in, that moonwalk just collapsed.
It just collapsed, yeah.
And what does Jerry do? He gets in there and puts duct tape.
Duct tape, yeah, that's right.
All over the holes. And of course it didn't work either, because as soon as the kids went back in,
yeah,
it collapsed again.
It collapsed again, but then it's just we didn't put enough duct tape. We put the whole roll on it, and it fixed it for a little while. Yeah.
So don't bring your moonwalk to the community event.
No, that's what happens when your family lets you borrow, moonwalks that they haven't used in 10 years or something. I don't know. But yeah, but duct tape usually fixes everything, just like Vicks is the cure for everything.
My grandma's gonna cure cancer with Vicks.
Yeah, I'm telling you, everything. Your cancer, you got your fever. You could have roña on your feet. You know, athlete's foot, and it'll cure it. I mean, just put some Vicks on there, it'll be all right.
The cure for everything. So tell us a little bit about your shows that you do. I know it's all comedy, but is it like 3 or 4 stand-up comedians, or what is it?
Oh, it's usually a mixture of comics. It's usually a showcase. So it'll be like 4 or 5 comics, 6 comics, depending on the event, and everybody will do their time. And a lot of times it's themed shows. So like I try to mix it up because, you know, the audience, I got a lot of love and respect for the audience because without the supporters, the audience, you know, there wouldn't be no show. So I try to keep them entertained and coming up with different themes. Like I did some Shakespeare stand-up comedy. I did like some really authentic Latino comedy. When I say authentic, it was nothing but family, and it was mixture with family, but dirty family type of stuff, like, you know, cochinadas, things that you wouldn't want your kids to hear or whatnot. But they were funny, and it was a lot of fun. But I try to keep it mixed up and try to keep the audience guessing on every show.
Do you have any comics that are heroes for you, or people that you look up to that you get inspiration from?
Well, comedians, like I mean, I grew up with Polo Polo. I don't know if y'all familiar with him. Yeah, he's an all Latino. And the crazy thing, I don't know any, I mean, I know Spanish, but not the Spanish comedy. But I grew up with him and people like Jamie Foxx. Martin Lawrence was always one of my favorites. And like, that man, what's his name? I get no respect. He goes,
Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield, Steve Martin, and who else is out there? Even Paul Rodriguez. But I didn't really know about Paul Rodriguez too much until I got older, maybe in my teens, 16, 17 years old, when I started getting more involved with it. But growing up, it would have probably been Martin Lawrence, my biggest influence in comedy.
Sure.
So you do this full-time.
Full-time, and I got a part-time job.
Okay, so what do you do part-time?
I teach defensive driving.
The comedy.
yeah, the comedy defensive driving. You can find me with Comedy Driving Inc. I don't know, Comedy Driving Inc. All right, or www.jerryvision.com. But yeah, I do it all.
So you do that like on the weekends, or how does
Well,
that work?
during the week, it depends.
During the week,
You
okay.
get different schedules. I'm trying to get during the week schedules, especially now because I'm being very involved in the weekends. Like this past weekend, like I said, I had shows all weekend. Now I got to prepare for 2 more shows coming up next month, and also for May and June. In June, I want to do a charity show like I did before, but I want to do it bigger this time. It's really overwhelming with the stuff because as a producing the show and then hosting the show, it's like keeping up with the material and everything is, I feel like I'm losing hair. I'm catching up to you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, everywhere pretty much.
And you say 6 months. It seems like a short time, but you've kept yourself pretty busy. What's been the biggest challenge for you in these past 6 months?
Trying to stay organized. Organization is the hardest part for me because it's like the thing with this is you got to deal with DJs, comedians, the venue, making sure there's tables set up the right way because certain venues, they'll just put tables like whatever. But like most of my shows, like they get so packed that I gotta squeeze them in. Like there's a lot of Latinos in a small room, and even if it's a big room, there's a lot of Latinos in a big room. We gotta make sure we fit in as many people as we possibly can comfortably. Because at the end of the day, we want everybody to enjoy themselves and be relaxed and get drunk and laugh all they can. So yeah, organization is my biggest obstacle always.
So where's your biggest show at? Where was it at? What venue?
Maybe, well, it depends on what do you mean by biggest show. My biggest performance would probably be at the Houston Improv or the House of Blues. But my biggest production would have been the charity show that I put together, and I feel like that's my biggest production because at the end of the day, we raise a lot of money for a charity or for a family for the cancer awareness. Yeah, the cancer awareness thing, and I think that was my biggest production there, and I feel like I got inspired to the point to where I want to do it twice a year. So if everything goes well, in June or early July is gonna be the next big charity show.
That's great.
You know, they describe a lot of comics to be like the type of personality that's really kind of serious, but I notice you're kind of bubbly. You're kind of funny, like off the stage, or how would you describe that?
Well, I feel animated. I feel like I'm a very animated person on stage, and I got a lot of energy. So it's like especially when I'm tired. Like right now, I feel like I just slept like 15 minutes before I came here because I thought I was gonna be late. As a matter of fact, I was late, but Ben told me 5:30. I was like, man, it's 5:45. I'm late. Damn. I was like, 2 hours. And then I find out it was 6 o'clock. I was like, Ben tricked me. Damn. I was here on Mexican time, but I ended up being early unintentionally.
That's a good thing we told him 5:30. Well, you know what? We are sometimes right here at 6 o'clock when it starts. I mean, we're literally running down the hallway. And
Talking
we jump
about
in our
current
seat.
events on the way over here.
We get here right when it's cued, you know. And,
Yeah.
And the traffic, Houston.
Yeah.
Never know. Everybody gets off at 5, so you're fighting traffic to get here by 6.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be here earlier, but it's hard.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the traffic and weather is just so messed up. I mean, the weatherman's right twice a week. I mean, that's how bad weather is. It changes, you know. Like last night or yesterday, or the day before yesterday was hot, and then last night was cold, and then this morning was cold, and then right now it's hot. Like, damn, I don't know if I should be feverish or what. I had shorts on, pants, jacket. I don't know what to wear. I got everything in the truck.
You have kids?
Yeah, I got one little boy.
Oh man, therapist, jump in. They need help.
Oh yeah.
My little boy actually, he's a little comedian himself. You know, he's a joker, but he does it unintentionally. I mean, he says things like, like last year he came home from school so excited. He's so excited because he knew how to write. He was like, Dad, I know how to write. Dad, I know how to write. And I tell him, okay, son, what do you know how to write? He says, I don't know, Dad. I don't know how to read. I'm gonna know him right in the heart, right there, like right in the heart, you know. Like,
Where do you get inspiration for your material? I mean, it sounds like maybe some family stuff or current events or.
Everywhere. Like if you see me in a public area, I won't talk. You won't hear me talking. I won't be very active. I'll stay quiet. Because I just listen to my surroundings. Because I learned to be very observant because the funniest stuff is real life things. And things that people do on everyday living, like when they're in their own environment. I mean, from women to men to older men to younger kids. I mean, I'll be at the barber shop quiet. Sometimes people don't even know. I mean, a lot of times people don't even know that I do comedy, but I'll stay quiet until somebody recognizes me and says, what's up, Jerry? What's the next comedy show? And then people are like, oh, so you're a comedian? I'm like, nah, I just stay quiet. I try to stay quiet because everybody says things that are so funny and they don't even realize it. Like everyday living is the funniest stuff out there. And I got my thing that will I act like I'm on Facebook, but I'm writing information about Ben and you. And I was just kidding.
So you do, I'm assuming you use your iPhone all the time.
Oh, no.
Selfies?
No, it's not iPhone. Don't be.
Oh, it's
It's
not an
a
iPhone?
Galaxy 4, baby. Galaxy 4. Don't you messing with my phone like that.
This guy right here takes more selfies than I don't know who.
Uh-huh.
You do.
I know, and I don't even like selfies, to be honest with you. It got addicting to, you know, like everywhere I go, and it started on stage. I was mocking selfies, actually. I was joking about it because I see everybody in the restrooms and stuff. You see people in the weight room, like I go to the gym all the time, you see these big old buff guys, and then all of a sudden, you see them everywhere. Everybody's taking selfies, and I started doing it as a joke. I started as a joke, mocking them, and now I'm doing them everywhere I go instead of looking around. Yeah.
Just as long as you don't do the duck face.
The duck face, which is a what duck face?
You know, the duck face, the one the chicks do whenever, so they don't look like they have the papada, you know?
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's true. That's why they do that high thing.
Yes, it's
That's
from
what
up
I tell
here.
women, like, look, women, I love all women, all shapes, all sizes. I don't discriminate, you know? But don't be lying, man. Put in pictures on Facebook from like 10 years ago, before the 8K, before the car accident, you know? Like, don't lie, you know? Because they all do this one right here, up here. Like, let me take a picture from up here because, from this angle, you don't see that, none of this and none of this.
Right.
They're beautiful. I love women all shapes and sizes. I don't care. old, young, big girls, everything, because, a woman is beautiful as long as she feels beautiful for himself. Like, I like women with confidence. That's what I like right there.
Sure, sure.
So how long you been married?
I'm not married. I'm single.
Oh, you're single?
Yeah, I can't get married. I mean, I got married, but it didn't work out.
Tired of all the jokes?
No, it's good. It's just one of those relationships. One of those common relationships where, I'm an Aquarius, she's the devil.
Oh, maybe you should talk to our therapist here.
Oh, therapist.
Dr. Feelgood, take care of it.
We'll do a trade, huh?
Right, Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Feelgood,
Yeah,
he does therapy for real.
Well, it's over. It's too late. It's too late. Yeah. I got my exorcism, so I'm already good. I'm living life. I'm living it. I'm enjoying it, being happy. Right now, my number one priority is my kid, my son, making sure that he has everything he needs, everything he wants. And then if there's anything left, I'll buy me some chones or something,
So how old is he?
6 years old now.
6 years old. Okay.
6 years
Does he
old.
look just like you?
Yeah, he looks just like me. And he's a chaparrito. He's a little short kid, And I hope he gets a little bit taller than me because he really wants to be tall. And I'm like, son, I'm real short. So I'm 5'6" with 2 shoes on.
5'6", yeah, that is kind of small.
Yeah, I'm fun sized. It's fun sized. That's what it is.
That's okay. You'll be all right. How tall are you?
5'5"
With 2 shoes?
with 2 shoes.
With 2 shoes. There we go. Okay, gotcha. I got my platforms right now.
So were you ever in sports?
Yeah, I was in high school, middle school, elementary. I mean, all around athlete, from baseball, basketball, football, soccer, cross country, tennis. I was second place in tennis all city, third place doubles in tennis, second place in all city track, cross country. Won a few medals. I don't think I went that far, but
What school were you at?
Jeff Davis.
Okay.
Was in boxing. I love that sport. Boxing, I'm still doing it. A little bit, as much as I can. But yeah, I've been in sports all my life. I wanted to be an athlete, but then, I fell in love. And then I got healthy. Because that's what happens when you fall in love. You die or you get fat. I got fat.
A lot
That's
of
Richard Pryor right there.
a lot of kids when they're young and that end up being comedians used to get in trouble a lot in class. Was that yourself?
Well, yeah, I was a big class clown. Like, even my baseball coaches and especially one of them would always say, why don't I do stand-up comedy? But in high school, I was having so much fun as a joker. I mean, I did all the talent shows. I won every talent show in high school. I did all the Cinco de Mayo programs, the Christmas programs, from dancing to theater to comedy. I was having so much fun. I didn't care about doing no stand-up. I didn't even know nothing about stand-up. I was just going on stage being a clown and stuff. And it was fun. People enjoyed it. And, I think that's where it all started in middle school and high school. Then when I got in college, I finally tried it.
So do you have a CD?
A CD, I'm actually working on that. I mean, I got multiple CDs. I just haven't edited them because I do my own editing. It's just that I've been so busy running around. It's hard to keep everything balanced out. It's like balancing time. I was doing this gimmick from professional comedian to professional boxer. The journey begins from punchline to punch out. I got to do two episodes, and I'm still working on the third one. And I'm still trying to finish it. It's just so much time consuming in editing, and then with the productions, it's just finding the time to do it all. That's the hard thing. And then being solo, is hard. It's hard sometimes, but it's gonna get done.
How would you describe your style of comedy? Is it like for Chicanos? Is it for English speakers, or how would you describe it?
English speakers, I try to be as universal as I can with my humor. I think anybody could have a good time. Excuse me. I try to do the shows and I listen to the audience and look at the audience who's in the room, because there's certain humor that would cater more to an older crowd that's more more family oriented, and different to a younger crowd that's all about drinking and partying, having a good time, and then different to a an all goes dirty crowd that is nothing but dirty talk type of thing. So it just depends on the environment or the room I'm in, the show that I'm doing. I'll try to cater to them. I got material for everybody. I've done Cinco de Mayo shows. I've done Dia de los Muertos shows. You name it, I'll do it.
So you've done it all in 6 months.
I've done no, not in 6 months. I've done it. I've been doing comedy for 10 years. I've been producing shows for 5 years, and the past 6 months or a little bit over 6 months, I've been performing from my own shows to other shows almost every weekend, at least twice a month.
So you're on the road. Do you go anywhere outside of Houston?
I've been to San Antonio and Austin a few times, but not lately, man. Lately, it's all been in Houston. Everything, I mean, like I said, I keep busy, stay active. I'm very involved with different organizations, and like they keep me busy as well.
That's great. I heard you were talking about doing some work for charity. Besides cancer, is there anything else that you do?
Well, no, that was the only thing that I've been involved in with. I mean, I'm a member of the LULAC, which is the chapter or council 4967, which is our President Richard Reyes. He's the one in charge of that one. And I try to get involved with them with as much as I can. There's a girl that got me involved into the whole cancer thing, which was Danita Gallegos, and she's the one who introduced me to the whole cancer thing. I try to get as involved as I can with the time that I got. And when I found out about the family that she posted up on Facebook. Actually, the truth is, she had a dinner, and I wanted to go to the dinner, but I couldn't make it, and I felt bad. I was like, man, I want to help. You know, I want to give something back. And I called her. I reached out to her, and I asked her, and she told me about a family, and I was like, let's do a comedy show, and then we could donate the money to the family. And it started as a small comedy show, and then I just started getting into it, and then before you know it, it just became into a big production, and you know, ended up being successful. We raised about $3,000 on that show.
That's good. And the family, I'm assuming, is a little kid, or
The little boy, yeah, the little boy, a little boy named Jace. Yeah, Jace. It was called Calling All Heroes. And it was a superhero theme, and of course, you know, he likes Superman, so he has this like Superman logo with the J for Jace. So I did this cartoon thing with, you know, him and me. Of course, I was a Mexican superhero with my tool belt, you know, with real Mexican tool belt, a hammer, you know, tape measure, a Bud Light holster, you know.
Sure.
and you have a cape and all?
Yeah, I had the cape and everything.
Wow.
The cape, yeah.
Very I'd like to see a picture of that. I missed it.
You know what? I might have to tag you with that picture. I should have done that before I came here.
You know, we're running out of time, but I'm wondering, what would you tell young comics that are interested in getting into this field?
Man, I would tell them to have a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. I thought I was going to be rich by now. I was like, damn, I'm going to be like George Lopez. Heck no, 10 years has passed, and it was like, what the heck has happened, man? Where's all the money?
Well, I appreciate you coming out. We run out of time, and we look forward to your shows.
Yeah, go to www.jerryvision.com. I don't know if it's right there or up there or side to side. Camera dude in the back posted up, I think I told him.
And if people are interested in psychology-related topics, they can go to 3sessions.com or Tres Sesiones. There's a lot of free educational materials there.
That concludes our show. Appreciate you joining us on Latino Talk TV. And we'll see you next month. Actually, next week. I'm sorry. Next week, Monday night, live TV, 6 p.m. here at the Houston Media Source in Houston's East End. See you next week.